Hello guys, how are you doing today? Let's take our discussion forward. So far we have discussed about single responsibility principle and open close principle. I highly recommend you to go and check those videos first. So today let's talk about Liskov substitution principle. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So first, what this principle states. So this principle states that object of a superclass shall be replaceable with an object of its subclasses without breaking the application. So state is straightforward. So if you are inheriting a child class from a parent class, so you should be able to assign the object of your child class to parent class, and all the functionalities should work properly, right? Now let's take a scenario here and let me show you a code where you know how we can break it, and where we should always focus on that we are not breaking this principle, right? So scenario is simple. What we will do is we will create a rectangle class, and then we'll create a square class. Rectangle or square is a rectangle, right? There is a relationship between a square and rectangle, right? So what we will do is we will create these two classes, and in that we'll just write one function which will compute area of shape for us, right? And right now we are only talking about two shapes. So let me first show you a normal way, I'm calling it again a bad way, right? And I'll show you that what kind of mistakes we can do, and what exactly the statement this principle is saying us to avoid, right? So what I did here is created a rectangle class which is having nothing but a constructor and two properties, which is height and width, right? Then I created a square which is inheriting my rectangle. So in this, intentionally in base I'm passing 0 0. Whenever you will set property of this square, I'm actually setting properties of my base. Base dot width is equals to base dot height, which is value. Then if you are setting a width, then base dot width is equals to base dot height and value, right? So that means as this is a square, so you just pass any property, whether height or width, and both of the properties will be equal. So created these two classes. Now what I did is I created a generic area function where you pass so right now this area is expecting a rectangle shape, and obviously if this is a rectangle, you should be able to pass square also, because square is nothing but a rectangle, right? So this area function is doing what it is doing is computing the area basis of the dimensions and returning that result to us. So here we created a rectangle. In rectangle we passed the dimensions 4 and 6. Then we created a square, right? New square. In that I'm not passing dimension here, but what I'm doing is I'm setting the property later, which is also fine, right? Because when you will pass the property, it should set parents property also, all right? So now when I will run this will actually run properly, and it will I recommend you to just download the code and run it. I'm not running it here, but I'll tell you that the result of this will be 4 into 6, which is 24, right? But this is where things will go wrong. When you will try to calculate the area of a square, so here I was calculating the square. So for rectangle my area should be correct, which is 24, but for the square, what do you think the result will be? Okay, so surprisingly the result of this will be 0. Why is that? Okay, so yeah, if you can just download and try to debug, you will get it, right? But let's move on and let me tell you what exactly is happening here. So what we did here is we are actually having separate properties in my square class, which is height and width, because I'm creating new properties. I'm not overriding these properties from my parent class, right? These are not inherited. And here I'm trying to basically set my parents value. So what is happening here is when you are assigning any value, so what is happening is it is creating a new property here, right? So the base is actually holding one of the property as 0, still holding one of the property as 0, right? So this is where I'm actually introducing a bug, though this is a bug. So I'm just trying to give you an example that whenever you are having a child class and a parent class, then at any point of time I should be able to assign an object of a child class to a parent class, and then also all the functionalities and features should work perfectly, right? In this particular area I will show you that how I could have solved this, use these properties so that it can run properly. But this is not the only thing which can go wrong. There can be multiple things which can go wrong. The only thing we should be focused on, that when you are assigning a child's instance to parent class, then also all the features and functionalities, whether they are working properly or not. That is what we need to make sure. Now in this one, in this particular example, let me show you how I should have done it, right? So a rectangle class, normal, same. In this I changed one thing. I created virtual properties that my child classes, they should be able to override it. When I'm creating a square, I'm actually not creating a new property. What I'm doing is I'm overriding my parent's property. So now when you will change and assign, this will actually directly set both the properties of my parent, because I'm overriding those. So I'm actually using these local copies of it, right? So in this case my answer will be correct, and that answer will be 5 into 5, 25, right? So this principle straightforward. Examples can be anything. Think of real classes. Here I just took a mathematical example, so that I can show you an error and correctness of it properly. But think of the real classes which you might be working on, and then try to assign that object of child class to parent class, and then see that all the features, doesn't matter whether these methods are inside those child and parent classes, maybe some other method are using these objects, whether these objects will properly or not. If you will pass child's object to that reference to basically your parent class, or you send the parent class objects also. So in both the cases that should run correctly, right? Yeah. So that's it about Liskov principle. I will attach the code in the description section. Please have a look, try to run it, try to add your scenario, paste your scenario here. Maybe you will find a buddy, right, with whom you should be able to discuss if these things eventually grow, if you will discuss these things with your colleagues or friends. And if you do not have friends which are at your level, right, then find buddies. Maybe in description section you can find buddies and discuss different scenarios with them. Just throw problems here. I'll try to answer your queries, and other people will help also. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.